This little handheld fog machine can create some really cool effects that you can use to level up both your B-roll and your A-roll footage for a huge range of projects. And best of all, it's easier to use than I thought and actually produces some really high quality fog. If you're new here, my name is Nick, and here we talk about how to level up the production quality of your videos. But today we're looking at the LensGo Smoke S fog machine to see if it's actually able to live up to its claims and actually help you create some cool environmental effects for your videos. And full disclosure, I was sent this unit for review, but I'm not being paid. All the thoughts are my own, and LensGo will see the video at the same time you do. So let's jump straight into it. First of all, when you purchase the LensGo, it will come in a carry case with a whole bunch of accessories. And these accessories include a hard straight tube, a hard bent tube, a silicone tube, high pressure nozzle, a liquid smoke filter, an infrared remote control, and then 6 little containers of actual fog machine fluid, which is really handy. And then of course you get the Smoke S device itself. Now, to be totally honest, I was actually a bit skeptical before I received it that this would be a bit low quality, maybe poorly made, maybe poor build materials. But actually I've been really impressed, especially considering the price. Overall, it feels really quite solid. Everything fits together really nicely. The build materials definitely don't feel cheap or anything like that. And so my initial impressions were actually really quite high. But then I started setting up the Smoke S. This is also where I thought it might be a little bit complex. I've used really big haze machines in the past for live concerts and events, and they can be relatively complicated to set up, but this is really the other end of the spectrum. It's super simple. You just take off the protective cover, open up the little silicone seal, and then just inject the haze fluid straight into the little tank. Once it's full, just close the little silicone cover back up, reattach the cover, and then just make sure you wait about 5 minutes for it to saturate the tank. After that, it's super easy to use. Literally, you just take the little fog machine latch out of the top, and then you just switch it on. There's just one little switch, turn it on. And then from there, you can just choose whichever one of the accessories you want to use, depending on the type of smoke you want to produce. I'll get a bit more into that later. But from here, literally all you have to do is just double tap the top button, and just like that, it will start producing smoke. And it really produces quite a thick volume, which I think is quite good. So I'm just gonna stop that, just tap it once to turn it off the smoke. And as you can see already, it's already produced a whole bunch of smoke back here, and it's really that easy to operate. So again, first impressions out of the box in terms of setup, build quality, ease of use, I was very happy. And then not only is it easy to use when it's handheld, you can also move it to a spot where it's out of reach and then use the included little remote, and you can just press the button and that will turn it on. And then as you can see, starting to run. If I want to turn it off, I want to stop the smoke, just press the button once and it's switched off. So that's really handy, especially if you have this set up in an environment where maybe you want some smoke in the background further away from where you're sitting with your camera. It's really that easy to use the remote. You don't have to pair it or anything like that. Literally just press the power button and it will start running. So from there, let's talk a bit about the different modes on this smoke machine. And I think before I received it, I thought that there would be different actual mode switches on the device itself to switch between what is essentially the 2 main modes, which is kind of like your standard haze or fog mode, and then you've got that sort of dry ice mode that produces that really thick haze that sits on your desk. But it actually comes down to the accessories that you attach to the haze machine that creates the 2 different types of fog. So on the actual haze machine itself, you've literally just got the one button for on or off, and then if you want different styles, you just attach different accessories. So in terms of the actual performance of these 2 haze modes, I was really impressed with both. First of all, let's talk about the kind of general haze mode. They refer to it as the portrait mode in the instruction manual. That is really essentially what I'm using right now. And this is more designed to give you environmental haze throughout your space. It's a bit more ambient. It's meant to fill up a larger space. And like I said, the smoke that comes out of the machine is actually really quite dense and heavy, which is good because number one, you don't actually need to run it for very long to get a decent amount of smoke and haze into your environment. And it also means you've got a bit more control in terms of shaping it and moving it around and directing it into specific areas of your room or your setup. Again, in terms of use cases, I would say the 2 main things you would probably use this mode for is environments like this. Like I've currently got a whole bunch of haze just sitting in the room, creating that sort of glow hazy look in the background. Or you might want to create more of a real smoky look, which is particularly useful for photography. And you can also do that with this portrait mode. Basically, either of the 2 hard tubes will create this effect, especially if you combine it with the little pressure nozzle like this. That will really help spread out the haze across your environment and distribute it relatively evenly. Obviously, when you first put it into your room, it's going to sit there kind of like a cloud. And if you want it to be more hazy, like I've currently got behind me, you just have to sort of blow it around. I just use a little plastic board that I use to spread it around the room more evenly. And then I've found it will last in the environment for about what you probably expect for something like this. In my little studio like this, the fog will probably linger for maybe 15 minutes, something like that. It slowly dissipates over time. So you definitely have to top it up in your environment, depending on how you're using it. But I'd say that's about what you would expect for this type of haze. And this will obviously vary a lot depending on your specific location, the size of your room, all that type of thing. Then the second main mode that you can use with the Smoke S is the dry ice mode. And to achieve this, you essentially attach just the floppy silicone accessory. And it's actually really easy to attach all the accessories, really nice. And then you attach a little liquid smoke filter. And then same thing, you literally just turn it on with a double tap, and this is going to create that really thick, heavy smoke that you can use to create some really cool effects. And as you can see, it works really well. Like, it creates a very thick smoke that tends to just fall down, and it does last a decent amount of time. Again, depending on your specific environment, it'll vary a bit, but I've found it'll just sit on the desk for like a couple of minutes. And you can use this for more dramatic things like product shots and things like that, just to add some dramatic flair to your B-roll. Again, it's super simple to swap the accessories in and out. As you can see, I just literally had to attach this other accessory and I had the dry ice mode ready to go. And then again, when you're not using it, it's super simple to store this all the way in the carry case, which is a really nice touch. I've already found myself using this dry ice mode for some B-roll shots for some product reviews that I've done recently. And at the end of the day, the creative limits are really up to you. Just keep in mind that this will definitely set off your smoke alarm. So currently I've just got mine switched off in this room, but yeah, definitely don't use it in places where you're going to set off an alarm. Now let's talk a little bit about some pros and cons. It's super easy to use and set up, very straightforward. I think it's also really decent quality considering the price. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and I can definitely see this lasting relatively well as long as you look after it. And then it's got really great smoke effects. I think overall, depending on what you're looking to use it for, I don't think you'd be disappointed with the amount of smoke it produces, the quality of smoke that it produces, how long it lasts, how it looks, all that type of stuff. In terms of cons, there's kind of only two ones that I could really come up with. The first is that when you set it down on a table, base isn't completely flat, so it feels a little bit unstable, which is only a relatively minor thing, but just worth pointing out. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that the dry ice mode will leave some residue on your desk or whatever surface you're putting it onto. And this isn't unique to the LensGo smoke machine. All smoke machines will do this. Like I said, even in the past when I've used huge professional smoke machines to fill up auditoriums, even those will leave residue if they use a dry ice mode. So just something to keep in mind. But that leads me to who it's for. Do I recommend it? I think if you're a content creator and you're looking to level up the style of your videos, you just want something a bit more interesting, a bit more dramatic, and you like the look of smoke in videos like this, then I think this is definitely a great place to start. I really don't think you'll be disappointed with the build quality, the actual quality of the smoke itself, and the two modes really give you lots of different options for creativity. I think also if you're getting into short films and either you're on a budget or you're just getting started and you're looking to experiment a bit to create some more dramatic environments in your short films, then I think this could be a really good option to get started with. Obviously, if you're shooting in bigger environments with bigger budgets, then this might be a little bit too small. But if you're just doing small stuff and you're on a tight budget and you're shooting in relatively small rooms and sets like this, then I think this could be a really fun device to experiment with. The price of these machines is about 80 to 100 US dollars. So I think they're actually really affordable. And like I said, I think they're good value for money. So personally, I do recommend it. I'm actually really enjoying experimenting with it myself. I plan to hopefully use it in more of these types of videos, in more of my B-roll and just my content in general. So I think if you're looking for something to just spice up your content a little bit, a little smoke machine like this might be just what you're looking for. If you want to check it out, there's an affiliate link in the description. And if you're looking for more content like this, then check out this video right here because it's probably just what you're looking for.